Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and in today's video, I'm going to do another discussion video on Classic World of Warcraft. Were you aware the Classic WoW is releasing in about a week? Blizzard made the choice to release Classic World of Warcraft simultaneously across all regions. So the actual release is on the 27th, but NA gets to play it a day early, primarily because we got lucky within the time zones. So that means there's only about 6 days left for Classic World of Warcraft. I'm pretty sure most of you guys already have a defined idea whether you are hyped and are gonna play Classic, or it might just not be your cup of tea. I've been running into a little bit of a dilemma because the idea of playing Classic World of Warcraft, which is a different version of the game we love and play right now, sounds super exciting to me. My YouTube section has been with a bunch of classic or vanilla World of Warcraft recommended videos, and maybe that's what helps fuel the hype that I'm developing for the Classic WoW. And I know that the release of Classic is going to be hectic. There's not going to be a lot of mobs for you to kill since everybody will be mob tagging. The servers are probably going to be in complete disarray. There's going to be bugs, there's going to be glitches, and people are going to get DC'd, most likely a lot. But even with this upcoming wave of frustrations literally on the horizon, I'm still personally super excited to play some Classic. My dilemma, however, is when talking about Classic World of Warcraft with viewers and friends, I'm actually finding a lot of people that are not quite excited about Classic. There's no doubt that there's a massive community that wants to play vanilla World of Warcraft, the original game that they fell in love with way back in the day. Some even claim the way that WoW should have stayed way back then. But it seems that the people that I am surrounded with, whether it be literally viewers coming up on stream, whether it be friends that I interact daily when it comes to YouTube stuff, I would say that majority of people, at least in my circles, are just not super gung-ho like I am. There are many reasons why somebody might not want to play Classic, because this is exactly the same game that they played, maybe it's the same exact game they used to play when they were younger. They've been there, they've done it, and that's literally what some people have told me. Been there, done it, not going to be exciting, don't want to do the grind all over again. There's no doubt that vanilla World of Warcraft was fairly grindy, as what most MMOs are, and what I think most MMOs should be to maybe some extent. Vanilla World of Warcraft was a beast of its own. Take the leveling system for example. At first, leveling started out fairly easy, but the higher level you got, the more challenging the mobs got. Of course, your experience in leveling is going to be different depending from class to class. Hunters and warlocks have an easier time than other classes that don't have any self-healing skills, like warriors for example. Forcing a lot of these classes after every bit of combat, whether minor or major, whether you're taking on an army of enemies or just one, to have to sit down and take the time to eat up food, drink up for mana before you're ready for the next encounter. There's a lot of aspects when it comes to Classic WoW that I actually find quite exciting, is to make every single small battle feel super exciting and eventful by making it a lot more challenging than it normally would be. Now, we are talking about you maybe versing a boar out in the wilds, and that boar having a legitimate chance of nuking you. So you actually have to be careful around the enemy. Hell, let alone pulling more than one boar sometimes can yield to a death sentence. And these are the systems that I'm actually quite excited to get into. I think it's going to be really cool to kind of be tested at just about every corner. Yet again, we talk about World of Warcraft Classic and how a lot of people describe it as very grindy and a challenging game. You also do have people talking about how casual it is. So with the amount of conflicting information, it's another thing that I want to see for myself when it comes to vanilla WoW or Classic WoW. How can it be such a tough experience but also be kind of casual friendly? I really want to see this for myself. So I have a lot of reasons as to why I want to play vanilla World of Warcraft. Because one, I never get to play it when I was younger. Just wasn't as one of those things that I was surrounded by when it comes to my childhood. I also like some of the ideas with some systems of Classic WoW. Like the original talent system, I really want to mess with it. And I know that I really want to go and maybe make my own custom talent build. Yes, I'm probably going to end up having to play some cookie cutter build in the long run. But I think it's going to be really cool to kind of explore and make mistakes in that journey. With so many people logging on, there'll be people to play with and level with. So that's another thing that I'm excited about, is to always know that there's going to be somebody in the game playing it. So you have my own hype, but I'm also surrounded by people that are not quite excited about the game. Even for someone who is thinking about playing Classic WoW, I'm not even sure as a content creator of making Classic World of Warcraft videos. So this is the conundrum that I'm coming down to. I'm just not quite sure how it's all gonna work out for me, for the channel, for people that want to play Classic with me or don't want to play Classic. It really comes down to also another question. The one question that a lot of people kept asking me, how long do you think Vanilla WoW will last? So far, I've never taken any serious time to answer it, and I just said something like 2 months, because that's usually how long the excitement is for a brand new patch for BFA. But honestly, with Classic, I'm not sure. See, even though I have a lot of hype for Classic World of Warcraft and I cannot wait to sink my teeth into it, with no specific plans, I don't know if I'll main it, I don't know if I'll just stop playing BFA altogether and just keep playing Classic. I don't have any of those things figured out in solid set in stone yet. Obviously, with how much hype there is for the game, there's going to be massive success in the short term, but how long will the success last? Classic Vanilla WoW is going to be an experience that we have expectations to. We know how that game ends, especially as an MMO. We know the very last raid, we know every bit of information down to a T, from patch update to a class change, and we even have guides and just about every bit of content that it has to offer. So in a way, it's a game where all the information has already been existing. Compared to expansions like Battle for Azeroth, Legion, WoD, Mob, where you had to learn new things about the expansion, you had to learn new metas, new fights, there's always more information and always something to hopefully draw you in. There's going to be definitive quote-unquote end to the expansion. Eventually you're going to reach the highest possible end game point, and it almost might feel like there's not a lot there to do. With a lot less RNG for Classic WoW, it's going to be a nice breath of fresh air, especially if you're someone who doesn't like Titan Forging and Warforging and sockets in your gear randomly appearing when they're not supposed to be. But with this kind of predictability, how much longevity could the game have? We know that there have been private server communities that have been running strong, playing the game day in and day out for, I guess, as long as we can all remember. But maybe those private server communities is exactly what's going to be the end outcome for Classic World of Warcraft. Is in there's going to be a set amount of people that simply love the game for the state that it was in at the time, and are perfectly content with a definitive end to the experience. And from there on, you simply hang out with your friends and your guildies and you do fun PvE, PvP activities, whatever might be interesting for you. And if you ever get bored, you can always level a brand new character and do this grind all over again. It's going to be a very interesting question, but we do know that with Classic WoW, we're going to have people that played Vanilla WoW. We're going to have people that played private servers that are used to this type of, I guess, experience and are expecting the end game goal. It's also another question of how does your average WoW player of today, how are they going to react to the changes of going from, let's say, BFA and Legion to what Classic WoW was back then. Now, if you take a look at the answer for YouTube and content creators, one of the things that I noticed a lot of the content creators point to is the idea that eventually there's going to be a drop-off of people. That apparently Blizzard is even expecting there's going to be an amount of people dropping off at one point in the game.
Blizzard doesn't expect the vast majority of players to make it much past level 20 or 30 in Classic, and they have factored that drop-off into their plans. No one doubts that the opening month of Classic will probably see WoW's highest sub numbers ever. That's been likely since the game was announced. The only doubt at all surrounds how successful the game will be long term.
I guess the question would be, if you do have an insane amount of people, would there still be that type of longevity? There's a lot of uncertainty in terms of how long Classic WoW will last, but that's not really a goal that I've been really looking forward to until this video. Normally, I don't really think of ideas in terms of long term, and I haven't really had to think about Vanilla WoW or Classic WoW in terms of long term until recently. I myself am someone who usually likes to act on a, not a whim, but on a fresh idea. I'm someone who gets a lot of ideas over time, and I usually try to strike while the iron is hot and get those ideas into actualization and realization. But I've been thinking a lot about Classic WoW with my own personal hype, and with so many people saying, oh, it's not gonna last that long, it really had me thinking for a while. We all know that Classic WoW is basically already successful. The amount of hype it was able to drum up and for how long people have been asking for a Classic World of Warcraft, I feel like it already accomplished its goal. But still, the future is uncertain. We don't know how long this is gonna be. I know that the ride is gonna be awesome. My question is just how long is it gonna last? And I think what I'll do is I'll end the video with this. What do you guys think about Classic WoW, and how long do you think it's gonna last? Also, if you're someone who's been watching the content on this channel for a long while, if you end up watching this video to the end, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Would you want to see any classic content out of this channel or not? I've been trying to gauge the audience a little bit, and so far the response to Classic WoW, at least on this channel, has been very lukewarm. It is something that I personally want to engage into, but so far in terms of content, I haven't had any specific goals or plans besides, streaming myself leveling and maybe an odd video or two here and there. I have not planned on making any kind of leveling guides or class guides for Classic World of Warcraft, but because for one, most of the guides are already there. They've been around for quite a while, but also I just haven't had that same passion about it as I've had with Legion and BFA, at least so far. Maybe playing the game and getting to know my character and figuring out how rogues play might change it completely, but I still would like to hear your opinions down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I do hope you enjoyed the discussion, and if anything, hopefully you enjoyed listening to it, because it's more of a listening style video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.